standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. It's explosive.
10 years of speed. 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
iRacing on LSRTV welcomes you to coverage of the next round of the Stars and Stripes Racing League. We're in Charlotte Motor Speedway, the mecca of racing, America's home for racing. Virtually tonight, and the drivers of the Stars and Stripes Racing League Xfinity cars ready to battle on the mile-and-a-half quad oval. Good evening. Welcome to coverage. I'm Wesley Outlet as always. Charles Wooten is our play-by-play color analyst and my producer director as well. He wears a lot of hats. And we're ready to go here. Just a minute left to go in the practice session before we go into qualifying. And Charles, I've always said this as long as me and you've known each other doing iRacing broadcasts since 2020 during the COVID years. This is by far probably one of my favorite racetracks on the iRacing server.
Definitely. It's one of mine, especially under the lights. I think it looks even better. And apologize for the delay there. I was drinking some of this wonderful victory fuel that I got in the mail from Richie Coy over at FTSR. So good stuff. I do say I like the Lucky Lemon, better than I do the fruit or the Throttle Punch. But hey, it's supporting a Swindell, so I'll drink it. It's good stuff.
Well, let's take a look at the Hunt the Front TV race analysis information for tonight. Obviously, they're going to go over to around 200 miles, 133 laps the distance, no fast repair, 100% fuel capacity, 4 sets of tires, 1 attempt at overtime if need be. If they do have a caution before the end of the regular scheduled distance, it will be 1 overtime attempt. Let's take a look at Kaufman Creative weather conditions. It's on the other right of the screen, bottom. 77 for the air temp. Track temp is at 81 degrees. We're under the lights, obviously, on the mile-and-a-half here. And the wind speed, nice and comfortable at 2 miles per hour. Partly cloudy conditions. Drivers getting ready for Verizon 5G qualifying. Verizon 5G, the nation's #1 network for, of course, your cellular device, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. Again, that's brought to you by Verizon. And the other sponsors of the Stars and Stripes Racing League, proudly presented by here tonight, include Butt Kicker. Thank you to Butt Kicker. course, the vibrating racing seat to make your level experience. Thanks also to Next Level Racing. Don't forget about the podcast On the Throttle on all major podcast platforms and outlets. And, of course, Verizon, as we get ready to move in again to Verizon 5G qualifying here at Charlotte. Drivers will be ready to roll onto the racetrack here in just a matter of moments. And, again, we welcome you to Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Charlotte Shootout. And by the way, Charles, a lot of things with Verizon. Qualifying sponsored by Verizon. This race is the Verizon Charlotte Shootout.
Yeah, and my phone bill is brought to you by Verizon too.
So it's mine.
so we're supporting. I do like Verizon, and I can 100% guarantee that Verizon did not go down when AT&T did. So they are a very good supporter and a good cell service. And I did look earlier. I was checking in the Verizon general chat. Actually, it's the general chat by Verizon. This was at everyone. The leader at lap 50 will receive the Verizon prize from James Howard. So I'm not sure what the prize is. Maybe it's a new iPhone. That may be a little overzealous, but hey, it's a prize. It's free, and all you can do is lead lap 50. So I'm in. Let's go.
Verizon prize of the race. What will it be? Of course, here at the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. Stewart, Virginia driver Ross Tatum qualifying with us right there in that Topo Chico. Sparkling water, by the way, is what we found out. That's what it is, made by Coca-Cola. So he just
here's your
qualifying.
Doppler twin right here, Nate Lynch.
Yes.
I mean, look at if we could see a picture of Wesley, I swear Nate Lynch is like your Doppler twin. I'm seeing a little family resemblance here.
25 in the Budweiser McDonald's machine out of Iowa. Nate Lynch ready to qualify. We'll see what he can do from the Midwest. He's Midwest Wesley. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he is the Midwest Wesley. And on another note,
even though I have shaved again, I don't have the goatee or the beard or anything like that.
Yeah, you have shaved that, so you got that going. But I'm really digging that red and white Budweiser paint job. Kind of, it's not a huge resemblance, but it, to my mind, when I see it, I go back to the Dell Jr. baseball Budweiser.
Yeah, the All-Star game car whenever he won the 2001 Pepsi 400 at Daytona after the passing of his father in the 500 back in February of 2001. So there you go. Here's Nate Lynch on the clock qualifying the Chevrolet Camaro. And we'll see where he ends up right now. 9th in qualifying for Verizon 5G qualifying here at the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. And let's see here. He just turned a time. Let's see, 29.966. Time to beat so far for the pole, 29.808 by, of course, Andrew Hess in the Spite Racing number 54. Here comes Joshua Robbins. He's had a couple of poles this year. The Micro Center Chevrolet number 30, working his way to the line, obviously, to qualify. That's the driver in the Chipotle Micro Center machine out of the Buckeye State of Ohio.
And I'm going to be interested. I did get a moment to talk with some of these drivers and fuel mileage. Obviously, we know laps 133. Fuel going to be about 55 to 65. Some of them were saying 55. Some were saying 67. So I'm going to say in the 60 range. So this can get very interesting because if you pit once, that's 60 and 60. That's 120. You're still short of making this race. So they're going to be banking on a caution, or we're going to see some really late race pit stops if we don't see a caution, in the lap 30 range.
Yeah, strategy for sure, definitely to watch this because they can only go between Price in the 46. Row 4, Josh Whitaker in the 28, Tom Woods in the 51. Rounding out your top 10, Charles will find Joshua Robinson and a man that's been on a streak lately, Kyle McCoy in the 7. And I love how they line the cars up cattywampus on the front stretch here in Charlotte for preliminary pace lap.
As we jump over to him, row number 6 going to be Jason Gratton in the 42 and the 5 of Trey Jackson. In row number 7 going to be William Duff, still liking that hat there in the 17 and the 31 of Ryan Lynch. In row number 8 is going to be the 05 of Scott Rickard And the 25, I still think he's your twin of Nate Lynch. And at row 9 is going to be the 44 of Kyle Bowling and the 24 of Brian Lynch. And rounding out your top 20 here, Wesley, is going to be the 80 of Ellis Thomas and the 10 of Mark Schrader.
Moving on to row 11, Greg Hammond in that 66 machine to the outside. Timmy McNally in the 88. Row 12, Dylan Glass in the 16, the 81, the man that's up in the points of Chris Smith. I think he's second. Row 13, Christian Lawson in the number 3, and Aaron Hale in car number 4. Row 14 will find Mark Fish and Zachary Smith in the 28th spot. We'll find out the rest of the lineup there, starting 29th, Paul Thomas in car number 40. Field is rolling. Parade laps are underway. They'll at least get one preliminary lap here before we get them all nestled up here 2 by 2 by 2 and go green flag. 200 miles, 133 laps the distance for the drivers of the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Well, I tell you what, Charles, looking at the information on this series, man, they're closing in on the bracket challenge. March Madness is beginning for basketball. Tournaments of basketball going on. Matter of fact, big upset in college basketball just about 30 minutes ago. Number 10 NC State knocked off number 2 Duke. And beginning next week will be the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge. And to elaborate more on that, Rockingham, Nashville, Watkins Glen, Iowa, and I believe also the track of Talladega before the playoffs begin. All of these drivers, Charles, are going to be based in a bracket. And based on their performance, they will climb the ladder to determine who will be the overall bracket challenge winner. And again, that begins next week at Rockingham, the Rock. That'll be fun. We're ready to go at Charlotte, though. Gonna be fun. A pace car out of the pit lane. They're in that Toyota Geico restart zone for the initial start of this thing here, and we are green flag racing at Charlotte. Let's see how things go here on the opening lap. Quickly, the pink and black number 54. Caution already out, coming out quickly on the opening go. Got a couple of cars turned around. Yingling, number 16, one of them involved.
I believe he is the only one involved, too. We'll take a look, but
Dylan Glass.
I don't think in the history of LSRTV I've had a caution come out that quick. No, not a dig at the league. They always do a good job, but that has got to be some kind of record, Wesley.
Yeah, something of that caliber. Let's see what happened here to put us under the yellow flag is Dylan Glass. That's there was a stack up in front of him, and then nowhere to go, and then Lawson got into the right rear, or the left rear, apologies, on the 16, and around goes Glass. So that's why the caution came out so quickly here. Got to wonder how much damage might be on Christian Lawson's car. He was able to roll away. We are under caution. Boy, overshot his pit box. He might be a little frustrated here in the early going here, Charles.
Yeah, and that was really nothing more than what you would see on a restart. The tires were a little cool. They didn't have a whole lot of heat in them, and obviously someone spun the tires or possibly missed a shift, and just kind of stacked the field up, and that happens. Usually you see it on restarts more than the start of the race, but a restart is the same as a start. It's just the only difference is you might have a lap completed on a restart versus a start, but essentially same thing. Same thing can happen.
Yeah, caution coming out here very quickly. By the way, big thanks to Virginia811.com, race information summary, and also the cautions. And there you see right now we're under one yellow flag. 2 laps into this thing, and they've all been under caution laps, Charles.
They have indeed. So, race driver getting a little extra airtime here tonight. Didn't they call him Frank or something?
Frank, the pace car driver, Peter, the pace truck driver, and, of course, Barney, the iRacing flagman.
Well, about time they get
That's
names.
Frank.
Hopefully Frank does a good job. We don't want to see him too much here tonight, so maybe he'll stay and eat hot dogs in the concession stand. So we do not want to see Frank too much. And we don't want to see the yellow Banana Republic flag either. But it's racing. We may see it, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, first caution coming out of the race here right as soon as things get started. By the way, there's the Hess Toy Trucks entry. I wear pink for my mom, number 54, Chevrolet Camaro. And that is, of course, Andrew Hess. 1/1000th of a second, the differential in qualifying between the front row there. So between Hess and Hoffman. And right now they'll try to reset here and go again after the incident involving Lawson and Glass. And the start coming to the green and the tri-oval grass going into turn 1. So, all right, we'll try this again. Caution already out in the early going at Charlotte. And they're going to put the lights still out on the safety car. Nope, the lights are off now. So the caution lights off around the racetrack and on the pace car. We'll get ready to try to go again here. Nobody coming to the pit lane, obviously. You're in the opening couple of laps. It's too early to pit, Charles.
Yeah,
well,
you don't have enough tires. Yeah, he did come down and got some damage repaired, about 9 seconds. But, yeah, you're not going to waste those tires just yet. He might have got a splash of fuel. I don't know. If you're in there, you might as well. I don't think 9 seconds, it's a splash, but it isn't going to make a huge difference in this race. So we'll see. Right. Maybe that little splash of fuel gives him just enough of an edge. If he didn't have too much damage, could be a strategy to play on.
And by the way, Dylan Glass involved in the accident. He did not come to the pit lane, so obviously I guess he thinks he's okay. No harm, no foul. And we'll get ready to try this one again here at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah. And I actually stand corrected, Wesley. My timing and scoring hadn't updated until just now. Lawson was actually out of the race. He was only in 9 seconds because he has retired for the night. So apologize. Timing and scoring hadn't quite updated.
Man, that's frustrating for sure. We'll try this again here. Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gotta love this place. Obviously, don't forget, in real life, less than 72 days away to the Coca-Cola 600. Let's go back for the restart. Roval in the infield. That's a popular track as well over the years for NASCAR at Charlotte. But everybody loves the 1.5 miles. Down into turn 2 on that back straightaway. Big, massive TV video board there as they work into turn number 3. It's Hess the leader. Hoffman right there to second. And look at now this battle in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Behind them, this is now Tatum, Kreitz, Ogle, and behind Kreitz, Whitaker, and Wizza going at it big time, door to door, going to 1.
Yeah, I'm looking to see how Josh Whitaker can do. I only know one Whitaker, and he's a really, really good dirt track racer. And obviously, not named as Josh. I guess I technically know 2 now. So we'll see how he does in that. I believe it's AMCO number 28 machine. But man, this track has proven to be some good racing. As I know you talk about that number 7 Iowa State machine. He is right there on the inside, and he may make the pass. No, he doesn't quite get him, as they are still side by side at the line, battling for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. You name it, Wesley. These guys are battling everywhere up there, and they're still battling just ahead of them, too, and that's for about 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, again, 1.5 miles. As a matter of fact, 2.414 kilometers long. Banking in the corners in turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, exactly at 24 degree straightaways at 5 degrees on the quad oval. In the early going of this one, about to put lap number 7 on the board completed. It's now Bustler going to the lead, getting around Tatum. This is the front pack now. Obviously, Bustler, Tatum, Hess, 1, 2, and 3. The pole car falling back to 3rd. And behind them, look at this battle move. Here comes Whitaker. Whitaker making a big move on the inside. Ogle and Hoffman battle in front of him. He tried to make a move to the bottom. He's holding off the likes of McCoy and Grattan as well at the line.
Yeah, they are definitely battling hard. And, this could produce cautions, but it could also, stay green. We'll play how it goes, 50-50 shot. At this point, we've already seen that one early caution. I think that was just due to some cold tires or possibly somebody missing a shift, as the battle's still there. But we got another battle going on for 4th between Hoffman and Kreitz. It's Kreitz right there. They are duking it out. And Wesley, I think this is shaping up to be a really good race.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one as well. Hess and Hoffman now, a couple of the front row drivers battling door to door now for that spot now for 3rd. This boy Hess under attack by Hoffman. He tried to make a move down to the bottom. Kreitz was trying to follow. Ogle trying to get something started on his own on the outside up against the safer barrier. And they're going to try to go 3 wide. Up the middle comes McCoy.
What a job by McCoy. He is on a move right now, and he thought about that 3 wide. He made it for a split second, but then he kind of backed off. You know, it's better to be, what is that saying, Wesley? It's to finish first. You first must finish. I think he thought better of that. He knew he needed to finish this race in order to try to win. As you say, you were saying last night, and we say it every race, the payout window is on the last lap. Not right now. We're only 10 laps in of this 133-lap affair. So they got to mind their P's and Q's right now, and that's what they're doing. They're just kind of cruising. They're racing, but they're still just kind of biding their time and cruising. There's no need to press issues right now, and that's exactly what these skilled drivers are doing.
And right now, watching all this happen here on lap number 11, when they come to 12 of 133 laps of the race, 200 miles here in the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. All this happening now with Whitaker and Kreitz, and up on the outside, hung out to dry. The points leader, Scott Rickard, he's got to get now up under Kreitz's rear into the 46 ride. All this happening with Wizza now looking on to the top 10. All this going on back to turn 1. And boy, look at this awesome racing still in a big pack of traffic going to the corner there, Charles.
Yeah, these guys, they've always had a good car count. Last week was a little lower. It was a shorter track. We came back to these 1.5 miles, and they came back with vengeance with 29 drivers, and there's 29 battles going on right now between these guys. As you mentioned right now, the closest battle to the front is this one between Hoffman, McCoy, Hess. You got Whitaker in there. Wizza, we didn't talk about him a whole lot, but he's up there battling this, and you can see right there, that is the battle. They're really strung out behind them, but these guys up at the front, no, they want to lead laps, and they want to lead them right now, and they're going to duke it out until finally they can get to the front or these tires wear off, one of the two.
Can't believe it, Charles. This is actually round number 10 of the season. This year just seems to be flying by, obviously, on our Thursday night program. But look at all these guys working back into the corner. Hess and Wizza now up the racetrack. Rickard again, Whitaker, Gratton's in that mix on the bottom. Just great racing. And everybody respecting each other here in the early going on lap 15 at the line.
Yeah, they're definitely respecting each other. And, you talk about it being, race number 10. Yeah, we're halfway done with this season already. That's one thing. I am going to miss them after the season. Obviously, stepping away to go pursue real racing adventures. So, real racing production. Same thing I'm doing, just, the real life side of things with the full-time job. But, these guys are putting on a heck of a battle. And it's going to be a little sad to not be here the next season. But, I think we'll definitely keep tabs on them.
There's the 5. Jackson outside the top 10. Behind him, Hess and Lynch, they go at it. In the top 10 spot is, of course, Gratton. And that's the driver, Jason Gratton, in the 42 for GWC Racing, his Chevrolet. Toyota up in the front, 4 behind them, and the Chevrolets in the top 5. Then you've got in a couple of other Chevrolets and Toyotas in the top 10. More Chevrolets up in the top 10 than anybody. First Ford in the mix is in 13th with Ryan Lynch.
Yeah, these guys really like their Chevrolets out here. And, they're bow tie guys. The heartbeat of America, whatever you want to call them. They really are dominant into the Chevrolet manufacturer. And, it's kind of an upset when you see one of these Toyotas or Fords come in here and win the race for these guys. So, I don't think they work with each other too much based on manufacturer, but you never know. They might. There are a lot of teams out here, and sometimes you work with your teammates, sometimes you work with your manufacturer. It just kind of depends on who you're around on the track as this race rolls on. And, some of these teams are fairly big. You got people like Hess, Brian Lynch, Robinson, Nate Lynch, Tom Ogle. Those guys are going to work together.
Yeah.
You got Hofferman, Gratton, Zach working in there. Can't read his name in there. My print's too small. Bowling, McCoy, Rickard, Jackson, those guys. So there's a lot of big teams in here. So it could make it really interesting.
Closing in on 20 laps when they come back to the line. They're on the back stretch right now. Here in the early going of the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. Remember, 30 laps away for whoever's leading at lap 50 to get a prize from the Stars and Stripes Racing League. All the while, there you see Hoffman on the bottom battling Kreitz behind him. Wizza, Whitaker, Cratton. All this happening now as the 5 of Jackson is trying to get back into this mix as well as they go back into 1.
Yeah, Jackson trying to get back in this from Grattan. Grattan just ahead of him. And, the battle's starting to move a little further back, so that's why we'll go back with them as well. I believe that's a 15 of Hoffman. Hoffman, sorry. I don't know where I get Hofferman from. I'm thinking of Offerman. That is Hoffman. He is hanging there on the inside. Wesley, you've been to this track many times. Inside lane, outside lane, which one is the one you really want to be on? Because they're having to pick whichever one the other car is not on right now, really.
I'll be honest with you, Charles. I believe that the transition can change. I think at one time you could be really good on the bottom of the racetrack, and then in the blink of an eye, especially with like a transition with like the Coca-Cola 600 Rex, the long one, the endurance race in May, the outside lane could really come to fruition and work up top. So I think right now these guys are just kind of picking and choosing. It's kind of a puzzle, if you will, just trying to get their chess pieces in the right play to know whether to go to the inside or the outside. And if you want to be the smart guy, just drive the middle lane right now, and that's preferably where the best line of the racetrack is, and that could probably just kind of help you be consistent.
Yeah, to them it may be a puzzle to figure out. There's a reason I'm in the booth and not on the track anymore on here, because if this is a puzzle for these guys to figure out, this was more like a Rubik's Cube to me, and I never could figure it out without taking the stickers off. So, and that's essentially cheating, and you can't cheat on iRacing. So, they can keep to their puzzle. I'll stick to being in the production booth because this puzzle of trying to get around the racetrack on iRacing is not for me. It never worked out.
1.5 mile virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we are for the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. Right now, Will Bustler, a couple of wins on the season for him. He's the man for SXS Racing in that Toyota. Ross Tatum is in the number 2 spot. Ogle third. McCoy Rickard top 5. All this happening now as they turn 2 to the back straightaway. In Hess now under company. Here comes the battle now. Jackson for 11th on the inside. Trying to go 2 for 1 if he can get to Hoffman 2.
Yeah, this is a battle. Again, this is the closest battle on track right now between the 15, 54, 5, and, about 10 other cars behind them as well, Wesley. They are side by side duking it out. And, we've always said we'll go where the battles are, and the battles are not up front right now. They're kind of there. They're not quite where we want them to go to them. So we'll hang around here 10th, 11th, and we're going to go even further back to about 15th, 16th. That's where the battles are. These guys are, what I would like to refer to, the meat of the sandwich. They're not up front. They are the ones putting on the battles, trying to make masses and get to the front.
"26 laps completed now. Bustler again, still the man that leads the way. We're watching this battle between Hoffman, Jackson, Lynch, and company. Inside the top 15. That's actually outside the top 10, if you will. Everybody down the conga line just kind of following each other, nose to tail. Up the banking. Now Jackson wants to jump out of line. He'll go to the outside to make a move on Hoffman. Here comes Lynch down to the bottom. So will also come Duff. He can't go inside or outside. He don't know which way to go. He's trying to find that line here as they go back to 1.
Now, you mentioned it there. You're just trying to find the optimal line to get around this track. It may be the high, it may be the low, it could be right down the middle. Like you mentioned, just kind of cruise in that middle one, and that's what he's doing. He is sitting right in the middle, just kind of letting these guys pick where they want to go and see which line. You're almost a scout out here, Wesley, scouting out where the best line is, and you see where the guy makes the pass in front of you, and then you go where he is. And then, you do that all the way through this field, and before you know it, with any luck, you'll be up at the front. And speaking up front, 1.07 seconds right now. As Bustler has, he's pretty much checked out from this field in that number 1 machine.
Yeah, looking really good. Strong right now for that number 1 Jordan colors. For the driver out of Virginia, the Bustler Racing designed Jordan Toyota. And there you see him right now, just kind of easily working his way around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just enjoying a Thursday night drive, if you will. That's a nice way of saying it, right?
Yeah, that is exactly what he's doing. And, he's got a demanding lead on this field. And let's see, maybe it shrunk a little bit in the last little bit. But we don't want to stay too focused. We're going to go back here to this group. Again, one of the best battles on track for 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, all the way to 20th, we'll say. These guys, again, they are the meat of this little Bustler Thomas sandwich, I guess you could say, because Thomas, unfortunately, Ellis Thomas a little further back than he wants to be. But, yeah, they're right dead center in the middle, and they're duking it out side by side. Nobody really giving anybody an inch.
128 points separate the top 10 of the points so far going into round 10 here tonight at Charlotte after Darlington last week. Scott Rickard still the points leader with a 49-point lead over Christopher Smith. Speaking of Smith, he's hanging in the back right now with the top 15. Kind of a quiet night for that driver. Scott Rickard is in the top 5 consistent. Kyle McCoy on the racetrack is in 4th. He is 3rd in the points, 50 points back to Rickard. 68 points back is Thomas Ogle. He's on the racetrack right now in the 3rd position. Good run for him. Dylan Hoffman as well. 72 points back in the points run for the championship. Dylan Hoffman on the racetrack right now in the 12th position. Drivers of the top 10 of the points, including, obviously, Will Bustler, Joshua Robinson, Kyle Bowling, Ross Tatum, Christian Loshett. That's your top 10. 128 points separating them coming into the race tonight for points here at Charlotte. Right now, look at this battle as Kyle Bowling tries to make a move on the man second of the points, and Christopher Smith. Smith having kind of quiet night tonight, Charles. I wonder if there might be a strategy behind that to make it tear at the end of the race, but right now just back.
Yeah, he's just kind of calmly waiting, and I'm curious how many of these guys will ramp it up a little bit once we get to a caution. Because if we get a caution now with less than 100 to go, there's 100 laps to go. They could make it on one stop. They could pit now, and then they can pit one more time and be good. As we know, they can go about 60 laps. So if we get a caution here in the next 20 laps, they might be able to make it all the way. So they're kind of biding their time. They're either waiting for that first caution to come out, or they're just kind of biding their time till they think it's go time to try to make a way to the front. So many different strategies. Remember, 55 laps to 65, 67 laps. So it really probably going to depend on how hard you drive this car tonight to determine your fuel mileage. So, I think some of these guys are really just kind of biding their time, like Smith. He's just out there cruising until it's time to go.
Bustler, Tatum, Ogle, McCoy, Rickard, top 5. That's the way in about 15 laps to go in that 50-lap Verizon bonus challenge. Somebody's going to win a prize right now. Looks like it's all Bustler. 2.5 lead over Virginia's Ross Tatum. Actually, both of those drivers from the Commonwealth. Here comes now the 5 Jackson inside, battling the Willen Engineering number 10 of Schrader. And gives him plenty of room. Jackson just can't get the clear on him in the Nationwide 5 as they'll go back into the corner into 1.
Yeah, he just can't quite get him clear, but I'm sure he will here momentarily as he's going to take the bottom, which seems to be a little more dominant. Right now, 36 laps in, and yeah, he's going to clear him on the bottom. And, I say that. He's not 100% clear. He slides up a little bit, but does clear him finally, exiting the corner as they're going to come to the start-finish line right there. Wesley, other than that one little caution at the start, this has been a really clean race. We now have only 96 laps to go. So I honestly think if we continue at this pace, they're going to get another 20 laps in, and I think we'll start seeing pit stops underway, and they're going to try to make this a one-stop race.
So Bustler, Ogle, Tatum, McCoy, Rickard, top 5. Here comes now, again, the drivers that are in the back behind them of Hoffman and Schrader, also McNally. All these drivers in the back in the top 15 as it stands, as we're right now door-to-door watching that race going on here between Smith and Bowling. Had that one caution on the official start of the race between Lawson and Glass. Since then, race mode full. They work back across the line, closing in on 50 laps and about 10 more circuits. There's a Verizon bonus up for grabs here at the Charlotte Shootout. iRacing on LSRTV. I'm Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten alongside. League round number 10 at the mile-and-a-half quad oval. That is the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And there's the leader up in front.
Yeah, and
continuing to be up in front there.
I didn't confirm this. I know it says on their Discord the leader at lap 50. So I assume that would mean, you know, when he crosses the line to start lap 50, he gets it. Versus, you know, completing lap 50, he'd have to lead that lap. So I'm not sure, but the way Will Bustler's going right now, it's not going to matter. He's going to lead the start and the finish of lap 50. So I don't think it's really going to matter for anybody else anyway, as he has got a 1.64 second lead right now. He has checked out way far. And you know, speaking of far back, you're one of your closest battles, probably the closest one, is all the way back in about 19th place right now, going on. Yeah, right there, 18th with Zach Smith, and the 91 and the 30. So your best battle right now is 20th spot, Wesley.
Yeah, been kind of a quiet race, Charles, if you will, after the skirmish on the start. And now everybody, not saying the racing's not been good, but they're just kind of riding and driving. And obviously, we've seen some door-to-door moments. We've seen a couple of times to try to go 3 wide. But honestly, I think it's all just trying to set them up to try to get to the end of the show right now, as we're closing in on under 100 laps to go. Cars are on pit road. As Stewart, Virginia's Ross Tatum was dirt tracking it there, entering the pit lane. He's the first guy to make green flag pit stops at the 21.
Yeah, he came in and he was hot coming in. I don't think he's going to get any penalty. Gratton's in, Hoffman's in as well. These guys are going to get in, make their stops, and this will kind of force everyone else to come in and make pit stops as well. As we kind of figured they would come in. You know, we heard around 55 to 67 laps. They're coming in well short of that at 45, so they're going to make this a 2-stop race for sure. And, well, that's it. They're going to go about 45 or so laps. We'll see them in probably in another 45 to 50, and they're going to make it a 2-stop race and have plenty of fuel to go if we go into overtime.
There you see Jackson getting work being done on his car as he is on pit road. So is Whitaker. We saw, of course, it all get started with Ross Tatum. More cars pitting in this green flag run of pit stops. And I'll just scamper everybody all around the racetrack, too. Litter them all around the mile-and-a-half.
This is going to get interesting. And, you know, this could be, Wesley, when we see potential for a caution, people coming on, people getting off pit road, that tends to be a spot for cautions, and everyone seems to get in. He kind of slides that Tire Pros 05 machine in pit road a little bit, not too much. Good thing he's getting new tires, though. Yeah, Brian Lynch in the 24 Hooters machine coming in as well. You know, Brian Lynch, great guy. Love talking to him. Sorry, buddy, but their wings are not the greatest. I'm not a big fan of the wings, but I am a big fan of that paint job. And Brian, he's a cool guy. But wings, not so much. But more drivers coming in. Tom Ogle coming in. Kyle McCoy's coming in. Here goes Chris Smith, Mark Schrader. Everybody's coming in now. The floodgates have officially opened.
Yep, green flag pit stops obviously happening around us, and obviously this shuffles it all out. We'll see if Will Bustler can still be the man leading for the Verizon 50-lap challenge on lap number 50. That's about to happen, as Bustler is still the man holding on to the top spot. 30.362. He's in the lead. He's got a 4-second lead over Zach Kreitz as they go back into the corner again, Charles.
Yeah, he has got a huge lead, and we'll see what kind of lead he has once he comes down. He may try to extend this one out a little bit further than everybody else, as we'll see, maybe slowing down to come down. No. Yeah, we're looking at 50 laps for him, and he says, nope, not coming down this time either. And we're looking at potentially 2 different pit strategies now. You've had all these guys that come in around 45 laps from about 10th on down, I believe. As now we got a few more. So yeah, we got about 10 cars going 50 laps and the rest of the field going 45. So 2 very distinct different strategies going on.
Yeah, definitely watching all this happen as the 13 on pit lane with his car. There you see the 66 also pitting. That was Fish and Hammond. And by the way, coming to lap 50 this time by is now Andrew Hess being scored as the leader. So Will Bustler might not have been really concerned about that challenge, if you will. He's the man giving up the lead. Andrew Hess will now get it back, the pole car in the 54.
Yeah, and I believe he, let's see. Again, if it was the start of lap 50, he got it. If it was the completion, he might not have, but he's going to come in, get tires and fuel. And these guys, again, 4 sets of tires. They're going to have plenty in reserve here for later on in this race because, well, we're just not seeing cautions where they might come down. And without cautions, you're not just going to willy-nilly come down anytime you possibly can. You're going to come in when you need to. More of necessity than just doing it to get those tires. Yes, I think you could agree tires are very valuable, Wesley, but under green, you're not just going to come in and get them just because you can.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Obviously watching all of this going on here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Verizon Shootout. The Verizon Charlotte Shootout. I want to make sure I said that right for the sponsor. We right now are approaching 50 laps into this one. They're going to go 133 laps around the racetrack, and obviously keeping an eye on all that is happening. And what a strong run we've seen so far. No doubt by Will Bustler, Charles, but now Andrew Hess is going to show his strengths to be back up in the front again.
Yeah, and he also has a 4.6 second lead over second place of Josh Robinson in that 30 Micro Center machine. Probably my favorite place. I've never got to shop, but that's a good thing because I would be flat broker than I already am if I went in there with all the technology they do have. And yeah, Nate Lynch has not pitted yet, and Ellis Thomas has not pitted yet. Those are your 4 that have not come down pit road yet. So they're going to try to stretch this. I bet you see them around 55 to 60. So they're going to stretch it to the max. So now we're at 3 different pit strategies here, Wesley, going on to this race.
Yeah, that changes everything right there. Hess, Robinson, Lynch, Thomas, Tatum, top 5, McCoy, Ogle, Rickard, points leader, Grattan, 9th, last car of the lead lap. Will Bustler 1 lap down in 10th. There you see him right now trying to get back on the lead lap with the 54 of Hess. And shows how strong his car is. He's racing the leader, getting back on the lead lap, Charles.
Yeah, he is getting his lead lap back. And while we wait for these guys to come down pit road, they're kind of spread out at the moment. Best battle is right about here. I have confirmation that I am meeting with Jeff after this broadcast tonight. I'm meeting with Jeff. And we're going to talk, and hopefully I will have a schedule. You know, in all jokingness, Jeff's one of my good friends. But I was talking to him on the phone yesterday about the Northwest and when they're going to start. on Monday nights, and I rated him a 9.5 out of a 10 on the friends list, and I told him if he got me the schedule last night, which he said he had, that I would give him a 10. Well, he didn't send it to me, so he's downgraded to a 9.4 now. So hopefully I get that schedule for us here tonight so we can start advertising the Northwest as Nate Lynch comes in. That's kind of what we were waiting on, and we'll see how he does. Looks like he's going to get out a little slow start getting off pit, though.
I think we're all waiting for the schedule. Obviously, as being the lead play-by-play man for the trucks, since 2000. Looking forward to my 5th year working with the Northwest Racing Series. And, of course, I know there's plans of just one big series league and then maybe some specials or whatnot. Last time I had followed up with Jeff. I mean, I don't have anything planned. Maybe I'll join you for the meeting tonight.
Well, I will say, I don't know if that's legal. I know it's a board meeting, and I got put on the board. But if I can, I'll squeeze you in.
Is it TeamSpeak? Because I don't think I've used TeamSpeak since November of last year.
I don't know. I don't think so, and I haven't either.
I might need to do a major update.
And we are voting tonight, I believe. Unfortunately, we haven't let you know yet, but we've pulled you off the lead announcer for that. We've got you working the concession stand this year.
Well, I love to eat, too. Here comes Hess on pit road, by the way. Hess and Robinson were the first, or the last 2 cars to at least cycle onto the pit lane, and here they come. So Hess, Robinson, lap 59 on the pit lane. This is going to cycle back around to Ross Tatum to go to the lead. These guys getting their pit stops done. How about this, Charles? Caution on the opening go. Since then, man, we've gone, 58 laps? 57 laps green?
And what I find very interesting about this race, too, is, and this is as interesting to me anyway, prior to the first pit stop, you remember who the leader was? It was Will Buster. He was a rocket ship up there leading this race. We go take pit stops. We get them all done, and now his teammate Ross Tatum is the leader. So interesting. I'm sure they're running close to the same setup, and your teammate dominates the first 50 or so laps. You go pit, and now you're leading this race. Could he lead the next 50 laps? And then if we pit again, will Busser take it over again? This is very interesting, to see them flip-flop like this.
Hey, by the way, don't forget that the Dirt Car Racing Comp Cams Super Dirt Series is back in action again. I want to see the little graphic pop up. That's what I was trying to cue, obviously.
This one?
I love this thing. Yes, I love it. There it is. Look at that. Coming off of the race, obviously, from Boot Hill a few weeks ago. They're going to be at Arrowhead and, what is it, Missouri? Springfield.
Yep. Springfield Raceway on Saturday, Arrowhead Speedway on Friday, and the way it's shaping up, may be the only race we have on Race On this weekend. So yeah, everybody else, I know Kennedale Speedway's already laned out. We've got a few others. Looks like Heart of Texas is set to get a lot of rain. 105 Speedway, 92% chance of rain. So Mother Nature is winning a lot right now. But, hey, at least sim racing can't get rained out.
By the way, your graphic was saying something about April 5th and 6th. What race is that on April the 5th and 6th?
April 5th and 6th. I'll have to pull that graphic up for myself. The 5th and 6th.
It looks really cool. Just put it back up on the screen again because it looks really cool. For those that missed it, look at this. I love it.
Yeah, we'll just do it right over there. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
But the 5th and 6th is what it's just battle. That is going to be Poplar Bluff Motorsports and Poplar, Missouri, and Old Number 1 Speedway in Harrisburg, Arkansas.
I tell you what, though, Charles, I know the World Racing Group and Dirt Car Racing. I've announced for many years a lot of their big events and races and whatnot. And obviously, I think it's a plus, no doubt, that they have picked up the sanctioning for the Comp Cam Super Dirt Series, and I really was going to take that series to the stratosphere, to another level, and get the popularity that I think that it deserves in the deep South.
Yeah, I definitely do too. You know, doubling their schedule this year, and you know, time will tell. I think we're going to see a certain somebody there racing potentially. He does have a month off, so yeah, I think we might see him there again. So that'll be interesting as well. Will Bustler is on the move right now. He is up from about 6th to 3rd. And he's going to make the second here in a moment. He's going to get by the number 7 Iowa State machine of Kyle McCoy. He makes the pass. And now you're 1-2 for your teammates, Will Bustler and Ross Tatum.
Well, we're halfway here, and obviously Tatum is now the man that leads the way. Bustler back on the lead lap, as we mentioned as well. The second round, the man that's got the most wins of the year, Kyle McCoy. And that number 7 machine, you see that on track. Ogle and Rickard, your top 5. We have not took a commercial break. We'll take one now. We'll step away as we're halfway through the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. If something happens, which I doubt, we're back with more from Charlotte Motor Speedway in just a moment. The Stars and Stripes Racing League. This is iRacing on LSRTV.
Years of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Second half of the Verizon Charlotte Shootout rolls on here at the Quad Oval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Welcome back to iRacing LSRTV, the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Along with Charles Wooten, I'm Wesley Outland. Rocket Racing Media welcomes you and our audience to cover round 10. Final race before the bracket challenge that will begin next week at Rockingham. Ross Tatum is the leader, Bustler second. This battle now continues as we went to TV timeout between McCoy and Ogoloff, turn 4.
Yeah, it was a really good battle going on for a while. It kind of fizzled out. This one's still a little bit here as we'll check a little further back. And again, you got some battles going on. Pick here, you got, looks like Grattan and Smith duking it out side by side, going on for 7th and 8th place, and they're going to fizzle out, but you got some more going on back here, and they're 3 wide, Wesley.
Starting to get 3 wide again. Been a while since we've seen that. So all this happens with another lap Wow, Jackson way high, gives room to Hess on the bottom. And while that happens, Schrader trying to scamper away from him. By the way, back to 20, I believe it's 20 drivers on the lead lap since the green flag pit stops took place. My apologies, it's actually more than that. I believe we're actually now to 25 cars back on the lead lap. One caution. Let's take a look at the, again, Virginia811.com race information. And there it is right now. One yellow flag. It happened on the opening start of the race going into turn one between Lawson and Glass. Since then, it has been green flag racing for 73 consecutive laps. Lead changes are 3. That's brought to you by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care.
Yeah, and these guys are digging with care right now. As you look a little ahead, it looks like, yeah, Hess, McNally, the 88 going in there. That is now the 28 of Whitaker. Those guys duking it out. Got a couple behind them. Looks like the 44 and the 30 as well. So, well, they're digging for every spot they can find. Not necessarily digging too much safety-wise, but they're definitely digging on this track. And, man, they're putting on a heck of a show midfield for you.
McNally up the hill, going to give room to Robinson, Micro Center. You said that if you ever shop there that you probably would go bankrupt, right?
Yeah, probably so.
Now, where is Micro Center based out of?
I don't even know where the closest one is, to be honest.
I'll look.
I'm pretty sure we have some in Texas down south, because I believe one of my co-workers, Tony Fetters, has been there before. And if you need a computer part, they're the place to go. I would shop there or B&H Photo, but both of them, Fry's, those are the 3 major ones. And you pretty much buy any and everything you want. As we got a battle for the lead, and Will Busser takes it back. Not 100% clear there he is, so Will Busser back to the lead.
Amazing how strong this car is, but right now you've got a 3-car scramble. You could throw a blanket over them. Working off turn 4 back to the quad oval. Off of the start line here to the front leg. Yeah, Ogle, yeah. Thomas Ogle trying to make a battle out of it in the number 11 machine.
Well, we talked about it earlier, Wesley. Early on in this race, they were really calm, cool, collected. Nobody was doing anything crazy. They're not going crazy yet, but they are battling a lot harder, and you're seeing more cars come to the front. Could this be the point where they know, okay, it's go time here? We have 54 laps to go. They have one more pit stop to do. They've been on this stint for 29 to 37 laps is the gap. So some of these guys are going to be coming down pit road here shortly, and it will be the money stop when these guys pit again.
Yeah, you talked about the strategy of seeing if they could be able to wing it out and cut it down to 2 pit stops instead of the ability of going for 3. And obviously with this long green flag run that we have seen since that caution on the start, going on now close to 75 laps now under green. And we watch now Robinson in the top 10 under attack by Grattan. Lynch behind him. They get back single file. I just got a feeling, Charles, they're just still riding and driving, and then we're going to see the fireworks here at the far end of the race. I really think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they are. I think the little battles you're seeing right now are them kind of testing the water, seeing what the car has, if they need to make a pass quickly, and that's what we're seeing there as you're fixing to see the 31 get by the 42. That is Ryan Lynch getting by Jason Grattan. And he will make the pass, so there's passes here and there, but yeah, I think they're just kind of biding their time, seeing what the car can and can't do, and when those last, say, 20 laps come down, we're really going to see them ramp it up.
Closing in on lap number 85 of the race. The Stars and Stripes Racing League from Charlotte is proudly presented by these fine sponsors. Thanks again, as always, to Butt Kicker. Also provided by Next Level Racing. The On the Throttle podcast, available on all major platforms and outlets for replays and download. And finally, Verizon, the nation's #1 5G network. And the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. Now, Wesley Outland, here comes possibly money stop time. And going for the undercut on everyone else like the last time, Charles. Here comes Ross Tatum in 21.
Yeah, this is definitely the money stop. 49 laps to go. We know they can do 49 plus laps. So this is the money stop. Unless a caution comes out and they want to come down for tires, they will no longer need for fuel after this pit stop. So the 21 is good. Put the check mark in there. And it looks like Dylan Hoffman is going to be good on fuel as well. He's in. So 2 drivers in, and their stops will be complete. And it looks like Ryan Lynch is coming in as well.
If you're these drivers, Charles, like Tatum, like Lynch, do you feel like you got an opportunity to go for an advantage? Or, you know, we saw even last night in the Full Throttle Racing Series event where if you were last to pit, it kind of puts you, you know, the guy won. So, you know, obviously we're seeing different strategies here from so many different drivers on this track. That's definitely changing up the scenarios of anything that could happen here. Now, if a caution comes out, throw that all out the window.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. You know, I think, you know, someone like Ross Tatum, he obviously got the lead, but, you know, the last one to pit was Will Bustler, and he came back with vengeance when he got back on the fresh tires. He took back, got to the lead, and I think it is. You know, I think he's got a fast car to begin with. And I think, you know, pitting when he did it perfectly, and he took over, or retook over the lead. And I think we're going to see that happen again. I think, you know, pitting later is definitely a winning strategy for him here tonight.
Will Bustler, Kyle McCoy, Tom Ogle, Zach Kreitz, Scott Rickard, top 5. Here comes Wizza on pit road. His Toyota number 51. Got some, definitely some scars and, if you will, stripes alongside from the racing tonight at Charlotte in the 51, but still rolls on.
Yeah, he's got a little character on that car. It's all good. He ain't going to hurt him. It's just a flesh wound. Okay. I watched too much of the, what was that, Marty Python and the Holy Grail or something like that? I don't know. A long time old, old movie. I watched that in school, I think. But Will Bustler still out front leading this race. He's got a small gap over second place, and we'll see when these guys are going to come in. You know, this is the money stop. So if you're going to short pit on Will or try to pit when he does, you're going to have to be very vigilant and see when he comes in. Good news is you have a spotter that will tell you, you know, the leader's coming in, so you're going to have to be listening for that. If you want to come in when he does,
right.
Yeah, you got to be listening to your spotter here tonight.
I'm ready to hear and see if we get an air hook tonight too, Charles.
Yeah, we haven't seen any air hooks tonight. And I guess we should explain that one to the fans out there watching what an air hook is. We don't like to say those bad words like, you know...
NC.
NC.
I don't think North Carolina.
Yeah, it ain't North Carolina, but it is NC. So we don't say that. So when someone, you know, hits somebody without actually hitting them and gets NC, we refer to it as an air hook now. So, and we do not ask Google that either.
No. Last night we found out that definitely air hook is a totally different world than what we were quoted it for on Google. So, boy, you're McCoy to second. Here comes Tatum flying by, and now Schrader on pit road of the Whelen Engineering number 10.
Yeah, he's
like
in.
You said, we're there are over 40 laps to go now, 40 to go at the line. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see these guys. And I think there's also drivers, Charles, that are really trying to stretch it here. I'm wondering if they're going to be hurting themselves because they didn't pit when Tatum did, but I wonder if they also could have an advantage over Tatum because their tires will be more fresher.
Yeah, they'll have the fresh tire advantage, and they will have an advantage. if we get a caution or if we have to go into overtime. So, yeah, there's a lot of advantages, but we'll see. It's one of them things you just kind of wait and see how it all plays out as you have Timmy McNally coming down pit road in the 88 Bass Pro Shops Club Machine. And then we'll see. It looks like Trey Jackson going to come in as well. But, yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages to every early pit stop, late pit stop, as Will Bustler's coming in.
And behind him, everyone else as well, with McCoy, Ogle, Kreitz. They're coming to pit lane. It's going to cycle back around to Josh Robinson of the Micro Center Chevrolet to go to the lead. Pole Center, Andrew Hess in second. All this happening, money stop time on lap number 94.
Yeah, if you're those people like Ogle, Kreitz, McCoy, you are not letting Will Bustler get the best of you and come in and kind of unaccounted for all by himself in that last one. He gets in, gets out, and he is off. But, yeah, they're not letting him come in by himself and get the lead he got last time. So we'll see how that goes. He's going to come out in about 10th place. His teammate, Ross Tatum, just ahead of him.
Charles, I feel like we're living in the desert in North Carolina with this weather, dude. Today was one of the warmest days in record history with a high of 83 degrees in March on Pi Day, by the way. Happy Pi Day, 3.144444, if people didn't know that, for all of you wizards and geniuses of the math world. Pi Day is 314. So, yeah, Charles. And in addition to that, 83 degrees, sun goes down, and it's like already 40-something outside. That's how, and I wasn't feeling good earlier. My sinuses and allergies were killing me. That's how people get sick, all right? Medication will only do but so much.
See, you had those days, it's hot outside. We had a day where the weatherman said we had like a 90% chance of rain. I heard one thunder, and that was it, and it moved on. No, yeah, we didn't have a whole lot here going on around 60s and 70s as we were watching this battle going on for 6. But, yeah, a fairly calm day as the 28 of Whitaker slams the outside wall a little bit. Not too much. Looks like just a little bit of cosmetic damage. I don't think it'll slow him down, but, not what you want to see as far as losing positions either this late in the race.
Let's give you your top 10 right now. As Green continuing to cycle now in the back. Actually, you know what? Hold off on that. Scott Rickard just gave up a top 5 spot. He's onto the pit lane now with a 0.5, the points leader. Robinson is the man that leads the way, and believe it or not, we're close on lap 1, triple digits on the scoreboard when they come back in a couple of laps. And 35 laps to go now here at Charlotte. It is the Verizon Charlotte Shootout here at the Quad Oval at America's virtual home for racing, iRacing on LSRTV. I'm Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten is alongside. And on behalf of everybody at the Stars and Stripes Racing League and Rocket Racing Media, iRacing on LSRTV. It has been a quiet one after some fireworks on the start. Since then, it has been a strategic battle of trying to save tires and conserve fuel, Charles, to get there to the end.
Yeah, it has, and I don't want to deflate anybody's sales if you're out here on the track. Still love that Camel machine. But by the way, when the last lap, not this one they're on, but the one before that one, Will Bustler just ran the fastest lap of the race again. So, he's sitting a little further back. He's in 5th right now, but he just set the fastest lap of the race there. He takes over 4th. So, yeah, these guys, they got their work cut out for him because, he's floating around like on Air Jordans right now because that thing is a rocket ship.
Andrew Hess, pole machine up in front. Strategy different than anyone else. Comes onto the pit lane last like he did the last time in the cycle of pit stops, Charles, in 54.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the last ones to come in. Actually, the last. Ross Tatum will take over the lead. And just like last time, Ross Tatum is your leader, Greg Hammond, 66. We have not talked about him a whole lot. We talked about him on pit road. We covered his pit stop, but really haven't talked about him here. And I'll still never be able to pronounce his sponsor, but there goes Will Bustler. He's going to get by him, as Greg's kind of guy I think is going to let him go. He knows that machine is fast in that 1 yard.
So Ross Tatum back to the lead again. A strong run for him, by the way, in that 21 machine. Ross Tatum is also looking for his second win of the year if it does happen. Wins on the year for Kyle McCoy. Will Bustler has 2 single wins this season, of course, 9 rounds leading up to tonight at Charlotte, including Rickard, Robinson, Tatum, and Valle. And Diego Valle didn't even start the race tonight.
Yeah, it's unfortunate I didn't get to see him here tonight, but he's always a contender, so yeah, we're a little sad when we don't get to see him. There goes Greg Hammond down pit road, and that will complete pit stops for this round.
So the pit stop's happening here. Scott Rickard, again, the points leader. 49-point lead over Christopher Smith. Christopher Smith, by the way, quiet night for him, Charles. We look at Tatum up in front. Rickard on the racetrack is now back in 12th. 11th is Christopher Smith. The reason why I say this is because those are the drivers 1 and 2 for the points championship. They're right there alongside one another.
Yeah, they're really going to be duking it out all season, I think, and really looking forward to the next 10 races to see how that all plays out. About as much as I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out here for the lead. Ross Tatum, 2.9 seconds, 2.87, 8 seconds, 2.7 seconds, 2.6 seconds. You know, we talked about how fast that one machine was. They're teammates, so they're not going to battle hard, and there was a lap car there getting around Ross Tatum, but 2.4, 2.3. Will Bustler, I'm pretty sure they need to send him through Tech, Wesley, because he's got to be doping them tires or got some knots in that car or something, because it is flying around this track.
Next week, we're off to Rockingham, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, and it is the kickoff of the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge. It will be 5 rounds beginning at Rockingham. Then they'll go to Nashville, Watkins Glen, the road course, Iowa, and Talladega will also be the final race of the regular season. There will be drivers bracketed with other drivers on the point standings, and they'll have a March Madness, if you will, Charles. Yeah, basketball. I know you're not a fan of basketball, but basketball season is upon us. You have March Madness, and the tournaments are going on the Throttle podcast.
We know about these tournaments. They're all over my TV. Thank goodness
to a quarterfinal,
for the Animal Planet
and
and the
final.
Cooking Channel. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the Animal Planet and the Cooking Channel.
There you go. Get at the American 150 next week at Rockingham. And then, of course, the playoffs after Talladega. And the run to the championship is on, including races at Homestead, Miami, April 25th. May 2nd, we're going to North Wilkesboro. Throwback Scheme Weekend. Looking forward to the old school 200. Looking at probably all of the new fancy wrap jobs and designs for the drivers of the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Auto Club, Phoenix. The finale for the season will be May 23rd at Las Vegas for the championship in the Sim City Shootout, or Sin City Shootout. They're not using the word sim, it's Sin City. And then, Charles, the Memorial 500, the Stars and Stripes Indy 500 with the Indy cars. And hopefully we ink that deal. I know we talked about it last week. That's going to be their kind of finale of the year. That'll be cool.
When is this?
They haven't announced a date yet, but it says after May 23rd. It says to be determined May 2024 Stars and Stripes Indy 500 from Indianapolis. 200 laps, 500 miles.
We'll have to figure out something on that. Obviously, after that is when I pretty much step away from iRacing and go full-time stuff.
Except for Monday night.
Yeah, we'll still have
Except for
Mondays and
Monday night.
Wednesdays to finish out their season, as they have a little bit longer of a season. So we will be here for that, as the battle for the lead is back underway. And Will Bustler, he went from about 2.7 seconds to 0.08 in a matter of just about 5 laps. So, you know, we talked about it. Will Bustler's got a fast machine, and those are teammates. So shocking that the two aren't just as fast, although they do have a little bit of difference in laps. We're talking 17 for Bustler and 27, now 18 and 28 for the two teammates. So 10 laps fresher tires are going to play a big factor as well.
You got a fast car. Closing in on 20 to go when they come back to the line. Rachel Polk says, way to go, Kreitz and Grattan. Thank you. On the bass says, go McCoy. Josh says, Grattan and Kreitz. So a lot of people in the chat box rooting on those drivers. And a battle for the lead with 20 laps to go now. Here comes Bustler, driver left, inside on Tatum. And here's that strategy we talked about, Charles. You know, Tatum pitted before he did. His tires have fallen off quicker also. Even if he tried to save, he's ran more laps in speed than the guys that pitted. Bustler back to look for win 4.
And he's got the 7 behind him, Kyle McCoy, who also has 10 lap fresher tires, same as Bustler. So there's several cars behind him that have fresher tires. Unfortunately, I don't think some of these guys like Ogle, Kreitz, they're 6 seconds behind, 8 seconds behind. So they may not quite be a factor for this lead, but this could get really good between McCoy and Bustler. As you know, McCoy's been up there all night. We've been talking about him, mentioning Iowa State number 7, you know, all night long. And here he is, really starting to show his strengths at the end of this race.
And by the way, my apologies. I said that Bustler was looking, or Bustler was looking for. McCoy was looking for his 3rd win. Bustler is looking for his 3rd win to get the most of all body. If McCoy was the win, he had 4. Actually, Will Bustler is trying to get his 3rd win to tie with Kyle McCoy as the all-time wins of the season so far. So, there you see him. Bustler and McCoy, under 20 laps to go. 1 caution flag. It happened on the start of the race between a couple of guys in the back getting together, Lawson and Glass, and since then it has been green flag. 17, now make it 16 to go, Charles, when they come to the line. And Bustler and McCoy are now 1 and 2. Tatum is 3rd, but he has fallen off on catching the front runners as they come to the line.
Yeah, he's fallen off a little bit, and we'll see. I don't think the battle for the lead is going to be anywhere in there. We'll see how it goes. I got to think Bustler's, kind of conserving a little bit, but the 7, he is searching high, low, middle. You know, maybe he'll just pull a car's move and, put 2 wheels on the wall and go around him. He'll find a way around him if he can. But it's shaping up to be a battle. Is it enough in that 7 machine McCoy? I don't know. But I have a feeling, knowing McCoy and how good of a driver is, if he has a way, he going to find it, and we're going to see it in these closing laps with only 15 to go.
And honestly, with all these guys spread out all over the racetrack, me thinking now, is there a chance for a late race caution? It's out the window unless somebody slips and makes a mistake on their own. You got cars all around the speedway. By the way, the interval from timing and scoring from the leader is 28 seconds to the top 19 that are on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's a huge gap, and while these two do duke it out, we'll go to some of those guys who have a huge gap between them, because there is still good battles going on. The 17 and the 5, that is Duff and Rickard. Those two still duking it out. May not be for the win, but they're putting on a show, and we definitely want to show that to the fans, as these guys are, their car may not be the winning car tonight, but it's still worthy of showing because they're putting on a good battle.
What the finish of this one here? Rickard and Duff. That's for 6th and 7th outside the top 5. Still single file. Just everybody just, I mean, they're just, it's riding and driving now, Charles. Honestly, everybody just kind of finally finding the right places to get into position to see where they can finish and end up on the scoring pylon. But I don't see anything changing with the front runners. I really don't.
No, I don't see too much changing either. We go back to this one to watch it a little bit. Yeah, at this point, you pretty much know what you have. You're trying to make up every position you can just to get those extra few points, but it's one of them things. Yeah, I wouldn't even say they've made their bed and now they got to lie in it, because nobody's done anything crazy. You've made changes to the car, tweaked it, do what you can, and unfortunately, it's just not the hot rod you wanted here tonight. It's just one of those deals. It can't be everybody's night every week, but you do what you can. As you see. Right now, William Duff is going to get by, Rickard's going to get by William Duff, and now Duff's going to get back by him. So they're duking it out. They're trying to get those last few points they can here for about 6th and 7th place.
On to Rockingham next week. It's 10 laps to go. As Duff and Rickard, probably the best battle we're watching on the racetrack, Charles, honestly, and that's 6th, 7th. Everything else is pretty much calm, cool, collective from here. And Will Bustler has opened up his advantage over McCoy.
Yeah, he's on the move, pulling away. I won't say McCoy's out of this yet. But he's going to have to pull a bit of a magic trick out, I think. It seems like every time he catches up to Bustler, Will Bustler kind of pulls a little bit ahead. Maybe he's kind of playing a little cat and mouse game with him. However, there is a lap car, the 15, just ahead of Dylan Hoffman. Will that play a factor in this?
Hoffman lap car as a pick up against the outside of the safer barrier and says, have at it, boys. Let them race for the finish. And that's a respect thing too, Charles. I in real life and even in the sim world, as we're under 8 laps to go, 7 at the, I get so frustrated sometimes. Now if it's a car that's on the tail end of the lead lap that's trying to fight to stay in the lead lap, then I don't get upset. But if it's cars a lap down, there's a race going on, you're not in it, don't hinder the race for other people. And obviously, for lap machines to kind of get up in the way of the leaders, I definitely get frustrated when I see that, even in the booth.
This has been Soapbox with Wesley. Anyway, yes, It is frustrating, it's frustrating for these guys out there when, multiple lap down car, but, props to the 15, though. He did exactly what he needed to do. He kind of went up high. He didn't just roll over and get out of their way and, park the car, but he did. He slid up, let them go down, and it gave them plenty of room. Still, Bustler did have to check up a little bit, not anything the 15 did. He just was being cautious. That did allow McCoy to catch him a little bit for a second, and then he put the afterburners back on. Oh, it was the 7 of McCoy scrapes the wall just a little bit. But, I think Will Bustler put those afterburners back on and it's kind of checked back out again.
5 laps to go. 5 to go. Closing in on 4 remaining when they come to the line. It'll be 6 miles left here at Charlotte in the Verizon Shootout. The Verizon Charlotte City. Next week, it's on to Rockingham. Look at this now. Getting a little antsy between the pole car. Hess, Rickard, and Duff. That is, by the way, for 6th, 7th, and 8th on the racetrack, Charles. Coming off 4.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We'll jump back to the leader with 1 to go because I don't think anything's brewing right there at the moment. As Buster's got a good lead, but Rickard, Hess, and Duff still duking it out side by side. Looks like Duff's going to fall back a little bit as you do have Hess in the 17. Yeah, 17 of Duff's falling back, but Rickard and Hess still side by side duking it out as they're going to be coming to the line next time. Be 2 laps to go. Not a lot of laps left to go here, Wesley.
Yeah, time running out for sure. As they come back to the line here into turn number 1 and 2, it is Bustler, the leader. By the way, Will Bustler looking for his 3rd win this year. He will join Kyle McCoy as the drivers with 3 on the season. Most of anyone. If he can pull it off, McCoy looking for win 4, but he's losing ground on the 1 as they work that back straightaway, Charles, man. What a job by Will Bustler. Listen, Kyle McCoy, Ross Tatum, all these guys pretty much were the front runners all night as we get ready to come off 4.
Yeah, they were definitely the front runners as your favorite part's coming up, Wesley.
Yeah, the CRN 1 to go. All details at wearecrn.com. That's my company, by the way. Got a baseball doubleheader tomorrow, Racing Sunday at Caraway Speedway, and Will Bustler, Charles, ready to finish this out here in Charlotte.
Yeah, like I said, I think we may have to check them tires for some, doping or something because he has been a rocket ship all night long. I don't know what they use. They goat stuff or what, but they're going to have to check them tires as, he almost gets a little contact there, but he's going to win this thing in dominant fashion.
Will Bustler, win number 3, and it comes here tonight in the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. Second spot's going to go to Kyle McCoy now with 3 wins on the year. In his credit, they are now tied with 3 wins on the year. Ross Tatum with a solid podium. Other drivers that will mark it will be Scott Rickard. Good points day for him in 7th. But don't count out also Chris Smith, the man second in the points with a top 10 run as well. We'll give that full field rundown momentarily. But it is the BRD Michael Jordan, number 1. Also, Bustler Racing Designs from the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Toyota of Will Bustler picking up the victory here at Charlotte. By the way, 1 caution. That's it, Charles. 1 yellow flag of the race. After that, it was flag to flag to the checkered flag. 129 laps green, under 3 laps under caution. That's how the scenario came down to the end of the distance of the race.
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't get a chance to go over the stat, but I will. It is in our notes. I never got the chance to bring it up, and we almost did it again. The last 2 Charlotte races were caution-free here. And they almost did it a 3rd time.
Yeah, just 1 caution flag in this race. 1 yellow flag, and in the years past, as you said, flag to flag, caution free. So I'll take that. It was a good show, and Will Bustler is obviously the happy man here at Virtual Charlotte at America's home for racing at the end of the Verizon Charlotte Shootout. Let's take a look at the results as we get you ready for the post-race wrap-up show. Will Bustler, the winner. Kyle McCoy in 2nd. Ross Tatum on the fall-off falls back to 3rd. Thomas Ogle 4th. Zach Kreitz the top 5. Andrew Hess, the pole car, will settle for 6th. Good point stay. A good point stay for the points leader is what I was going to say. Scott Rickard 7th. William Duff 8th. Good solid run for him. Timmy McNally as well with a top 10. And Christopher Smith as well, 10th.
Yeah, 11th place. I'm going to go to Joshua Robinson, followed by Ryan Lynch, Kyle Bowling, Nate Lynch, Trey Jackson, Jason Ratton, Tom Wizza, Mark Schrader, Dylan Hoffman, and Josh Whittaker going to be your top 20, Wesley.
Yeah, there you go. Of course, also Greg Hammond and all these cars a lap down or more for the finish. Mark Fish, 22nd. Brian Lynch, Zachary Smith, Paul Thomas, Ellis Thomas, top 25. Aaron Hell, Dylan Glass, and Christian Lawson. Those are the cars that got involved in a tangle on the green flag start going into turn 1, and they finished in 28th and 29th. One more look at the Virginia811.com race summary when it's all said and done. There it is. 1 caution, 3 laps in total, and lead changes were 10. That's brought to you by the race summary, Virginia811.com, reminding you, dig with care, call before you dig. We're going post-race next. We'll grab the podium, and we'll wrap things up and get you ready for the Bracket Challenge next week at Rockingham. Stars and Stripes Racing League from Charlotte. This is iRacing on LSRTV. Welcome back to Charlotte, as the, of course, Verizon Charlotte Shootout has concluded at Virtual America's Home for Racing for iRacing on LSRTV. Let's go to Victory Lane and grab the winner. Will Bustler, it is now your 3rd win this year. You now tie with Kyle McCoy. What a run. Are you thinking championships yet? What's your take of Charlotte?
I mean, I wouldn't be racing if I wasn't thinking championship, so definitely #1 priority this season.
Man, the strategy of getting through this race, did you think it was going to be a green flag run like it did? I mean, yeah, we had the caution at the start, but for the most part, man, it was 120 laps or 29 laps, green flag to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to the league on, the drivers that we have in here. They just put on a hell of a race. Props to everybody who raced tonight, including the first caution. It is what it is, but I fully expected this league to go green. It's kind of what I've seen the last couple of seasons with Stars and Stripes, so fully expected it, and thank God I practiced for the long run, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it worked really well for you. One more question, segue that into thanking your sponsors as well. With the Bracket Challenge starting next week at Rockingham, do you race differently knowing that you're kind of in a head-to-head bracket battle with some drivers?
I mean, if I think about it, it could throw me off, so I'm just going to continue to do what I've done all season, put some time in before the race, do a little bit of testing here and there, and hopefully, we continue to push, and then I'll be where I need to be at the end of the season to compete for, again, like we said, a championship.
All right, man, before I let you go, thank your sponsors. Congratulations. Win #3, now tied with Kyle McCoy for the year.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to my wife, Heather. She puts up with all my racing nonsense week to week, so shout out to her. Thank you, Heather. My dad's watching. Shout out to Rob. Thank you for tuning in. Ross put on a hell of a race. He had me sweating there for a little bit. Thanks to him, he just, deals with my lack of knowledge sometimes with this type of stuff. So shout out to him. Shout out to other league sponsors, Verizon, On the Throttle Podcast, Butt Kicker, Next Level, LSRTV. You guys do a heck of a job. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we appreciate it. And you have a good night.
Will Bustler has picked up the win, ladies and gentlemen. It will be his 3rd win this year, now tied up with, of course, the driver of Kyle McCoy. And speaking of Kyle McCoy, the buddy out of Iowa, Let's get his thoughts in the Cyhawk Motorsports number 7. Listen, I would say you're probably not disappointed with a second place finish, man. Obviously a good points day and a really good strong car. Just kind of ran out of time there, Kyle.
Yeah, it's hard not to be disappointed when I got that close to his back bumper, but unfortunately that was kind of that was about as close as I was gonna get. So yeah, really good run. Really happy with that considering where I qualified. I mean, that was really the difference. I think Will got out right off the bat and just had us all covered pretty much for the rest of the race. So congrats to him. He ran a great race, and I'm pretty happy to finish second.
We saw so many different drivers on strategy levels. Do you focus on what they're doing, or do you just look at what you're doing in the cockpit of the 7?
That's a good question. It's a little bit of both. If somebody like Ross is usually on the older edge of taking a different strategy, so I kind of saw him pitting early, and it worked out really a lot better than I personally considered it was going to. So he did a great job as well. So no, I guess I didn't take that too much into account. You just kind of feel where your tires are at, and if they really take a drop off, that's kind of where I bust out and get to pit road as fast as possible. But yeah, I usually try to run my own race. That's usually the way to keep yourself out of trouble, right? So.
Well, what a strategy for sure, man. Now you got now this driver, Bustler, right there with you. You have 3 wins each. I'll ask you the same question. I guess I'll ask all you guys in the post-race here. The bracket challenge, the post-race, the playoffs looming after that in 5 weeks. Does it change how you drive knowing you're going to be going head-to-head against drivers in the bracket?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm not going to give you the PC answer. I'm watching it. I already got my matchup scoped out for next week, so I mean, you're running the race, right? And then after that, like, you just kind of keep tabs on that other guy, which makes it really fun. I really love that this league kind of branches out on a limb and does that. It's going to be really awesome. Sounds like it's double elimination, so you can have a bad run in there and still keep yourself alive. Got some good tracks coming up for me, I think. So we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, I'll be paying attention for sure. You wanna win first and watch that bracket second. So.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to following what happens, no doubt, tomorrow. So, or next Thursday. My apologies. Before I let you go, man, thank your sponsors. Good job as always there in the number 7.
Yeah. First of all, thanks to my teammates Scott, Kyle, Trey. Good runs tonight. We kind of battled poor qualifying efforts, so unfortunate there. But thanks to those guys, they always put in a ton of effort and really make this league a ton of enjoyment for me. So yeah, thanks to my sponsors, Iowa State, big win in the Big 12 tournament tonight. Celsius, thanks to the league sponsors On the Throttle, Verizon. Thanks to you guys for putting on a fantastic broadcast as per usual. And we're looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks to Nate and Brian, obviously, for putting on a great race. And I think there was some kind of sponsorship that went out to maybe Andrew tonight. So congrats to him, too.
Well, there's the thoughts of Iowa's Kyle McCoy. And good luck with the Iowa State Cyclones. What are they in the? They're in the tournament, right? The basketball tournament. Are they eliminated already, or are they in it?
Oh no, we're going all the way this year, man. Come on.
There you go, all the way. I wasn't talking about March Madness. Obviously, the conference tournament's going on a lot too. So,
yes.
Obviously, a big one in the ACC is number 10 NC State upset Duke, which is very unusual. So, we'll see you next week. There's Kyle McCoy, and
appreciate it, boys.
The driver of that number 7 machine. Let's grab Ross Tatum from the Commonwealth of Virginia, the number 21 machine. And Ross, I was thinking the strategy that you had, maybe you could have went for the undercut, but it just didn't work. It seemed like it was a very unique strategy, but did the tire fall off happen more quicker than you thought, and that's the outcome of what you got, or was you just trying to consistently just be able to finish on the podium tonight?
Yeah, I had to try something, man. I was terrible tonight. It seemed like everybody kind of wore down to the same lap time, so I just tried to get through traffic as fast as I could that last run. I did a little bit better of undercutting. Second run, I was running the wrong line. I kept running into people and stuff, so it kind of messed me up, so that might have cost me some time. But I didn't have anything for Will or Kyle or Tom really tonight, so come out third. I'm pretty happy with that. There wasn't much else I could do here. This is probably my least favorite track in car combo on iRacing. This thing was so freaking tight tonight, but all in all, it was a good race.
You know, Ross, one of the things you talk told me a few weeks ago, because I've called a lot of your iRacing broadcasts, is you kind of said that you kind of lost that fire, that drive that you normally have for it. Is it coming back with, having a battle with some of these races like this?
Absolutely not. I was dreading getting on here tonight. I wanted to just play some Warzone or Call of Duty or just chill out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm just not super into iRacing right now. The only reason I'm really racing right now is I'm trying to finish out the season on Tuesday nights. But then the other thing is I just love racing with these guys at Stars and Stripes. So I just try to keep coming and showing up and making sure that I don't miss out on all the good racing we have here, because this is by far the best league I've ever been in.
Does it change next week being a part of the bracket challenge? Final question, segue that to your sponsors, bud.
I don't even know who I face. It should be a lot of fun. I like the challenge of going head to head with people. That should be a lot of fun. So, I think that's exciting. I'm glad Nate and those guys do that stuff. It makes it interesting for sure. Adds a little bit of stuff that you guys can talk about on the broadcast and stuff. So I think that's cool. And for my sponsors, first and foremost, I gotta thank Will Bustler. He's the man. He did a great job tonight winning the race, kicking everybody's butt. He just killed everybody. So great job to Will. Gotta thank, I'm lost. Bustler Racing Designs. So everybody check out his page. You gotta thank Verizon for sponsoring the league, LSRTV for the awesome work you guys do. On the Throttle podcast, I'm trying to read off his sponsors, but I'm not good at it. And finally, I gotta send my thoughts and prayers to Jonathan Woods. He's having surgery tonight for his tiny micro penis, so hopefully he gets better and he'll be on the mend soon.
There you go. All right, well, there's the thoughts of Ross Tatum. He'll finish in the third spot on the podium. Another good solid night for those drivers. Of course, now with the win for Will Bustler, Bustler is now tied with Kyle McCoy of 3 wins on the year. So with that being said, that wraps up tonight here with the Verizon Charlotte Shootout at America's Home for Virtual Racing. Next week, it is the On the Throttle Bracket Challenge. As for 5 weeks